Well, hello there, everyone. It's the High Noon Hemp Show. If you're watching us live, that of course means it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, which is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. If you didn't know, now you do. You see, we've done this episode 334. You can believe that. A lot of hemp, a lot of infotainment, if you will, over the years. And we continue right here, right now. I'm, of course, Stoner Jesus. I do various things on the interwebs, which you can search out. If you have the Bing or the Netscape or the AOL, he is Beach. He loves hemp and he's high above the Hemptations and the Flower Factory in Northside in Cincinnati Beach. How are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
Good. Just realized I had my hat on backwards, and I just don't normally wear it like that, so I had to
hip.
rectify that situation real quick. Oh, and you know what else I forgot?
Bring in the youth vote.
Let's shine a little. Whoa! I don't know what happened.
Uh-oh. There we go.
There it is. Let's shine a little light on things as well. Like a light bulb of ideas, the High Noon Hemp Show is here for you.
Nice.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. If you're here live, we sure appreciate you being here live. The more stuff I put in the studio, the more stuff I have to knock down, just so you know. And so anyway, but thanks everybody for being here. Yes, watch us at all those places. The YouTube is the best place to watch us. Wherever you're watching us today, I hope that it goes well. You can email me at hemptations@me.com. I don't really talk about that too much, but questions, anything. I do end the show normally with the questions and thoughts segment. I don't have a whole lot of questions a lot of the times, and again, most of my thoughts are put out there throughout the show. But feel free to email me at hemptations@me.com, right there on the screen as we speak. Remember, always remember that so far the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. So remember that throughout the show.
Right.
It's the best disclaimer I can give, I suppose. Let's go ahead and do our pledge.
Mm-hmm.
I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun, with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. So we got 254 days left to remove Section 781 from the final appropriations package. I think it's we're moving further and further to a 2-year delay on this, possibly. But to be clear, the Farm Bill, if it is passed, will basically do the same thing that this will do. And so that could really throw things into turmoil as soon as the president signs it. And I don't know, we got a war going on, and we still got a lot of files to be released. But no, I would assume that they really want to do the Farm Bill, because it shouldn't be bipartisan, or it should be bipartisan. This is the Agriculture Acts, the Farm Bills shouldn't have anything to do with politics, but of course they are. But I feel like it always looks good one way or another. Thank you, Jane Dope, for reposting.
Hi, Jane.
And so we can. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I just keep. It's not great for the farmers or anything, or I don't know. I mean, everything's still under the last one, which was passed in 2018 right now. And so I would just like to keep it the status quo. I don't know if the farmers want any real changes out there or not. I don't know. I can't imagine that a new farm bill, honestly, with all the cuts that the federal government has made in every single place, except for a couple, which is ridiculous. But that it might not be a great farm bill for farmers because of that. I don't know. I really don't know. I just know that it will change the definition of hemp, and it is not a great change in the definition. The definition changes that we want is to make it 0.1%, 1% THC. But that's not going to happen. Obviously, we're going backwards because what this will do is make like a total THC. So now they're going to include THCA and all this other in the testing, and they're going to put a final. This is the big kicker. I do believe that it will. I know the ban is doing this. I don't know about the Farm Bill, so I don't know if the Farm Bill is going to put a final THC in the final product right now. And I think it was, if you don't know, it's the 0.3% is by dry weight when the flower is harvested. And then everything after that is legal. Whatever's made out of that flower, that plant, that roots, whatever it is 100% legal as a hemp product. Now they want to touch, I think, the end product, which, that starts screwing up full spectrum CBD products, anything. And so, it's I can't believe, how far forward we were in 2018, 2020, and how far backwards we have gone just in 2026 for the most part. The ban started in 2025. At the end of 2025, the ban that doesn't go into effect until the end of 2026 didn't actually happen until the end of 2025. And so, anyway, here in Ohio, same old situation. We are collecting signatures here at Hemptations inside the flower factory in Northside. Address streaming below. And hopefully we can do something about SB 56, which really, in my opinion, I'm not even going to pay attention to. Because, once again, the state of Ohio cannot legally change the definition of hemp. My products are 100% federally legal. The hemp policy in the state of Ohio is to follow the USDA rules. There is no division of hemp anymore with the Department of Agriculture in Ohio. They disbanded it. And they went back to following the USDA rules and following those guidelines. All of my products are 100% legal, and so that's kind of where we're at. And I know what's going to happen everywhere else. I can predict it, and so we'll see how it all plays out. But it's a bunch of bull. Anytime that the government steps up and goes against the will of the voter, their constituents, as they are called, then it is a mass intrusion in our rights. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. So if the voters pass something, that should be like, you can't touch it. You can't touch it. The voters pass a bill, initiative, whatever it is, bill. If the voters pass it, You can't touch it. You can't change it. You can't do anything. Becomes law. Bim, bam, boom, dundee, dundee. Not in Ohio. Not in Ohio. Not. All right. Let's get on with the show. As they say in the big business, not big business, in the big showbiz world. That's the big showbiz world I am in here at Planet Everywhere Studios, high above the Hemptations and Flower Factory in Northside. How about a little product spotlight? Every week we do it. Let's do it this week too. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. First one is this Greenfield Paper Company notebook. This can work as a notebook, sketch pads. It does not have lined paper. So it's 8.5 by 11 still, but it's not lined. It's more like sketch paper, or I'm not saying you can't use it as a diary or whatever. I don't care. Either way, there you have it. Greenfield Paper Company notebook. Ladies hood lamb. I'm sorry. How about a little Greenco pre-roll containers? These are very popular these days. The pre-rolls are popular, whether it's people making their own pre-rolls, which you can do with the hemp flour that we have and the raw hemp papers, and then store it in hemp. Choose a color. I went out to a party recently, and I color coordinated my pre-roll containers with my strains. So I had my sativa and my indica and my hybrid, each in a color, so I knew which ones they were.
Nice.
Just it's the little things in life.
Convenient, handy. Yeah.
When I can put my hemp inside some hemp, and then share it with other people, that's my perfect world. Which is my everyday life, by the way, people. Just so you know.
Right.
If you're tuning in for the first time, this is my everyday life. Oh, what do we got up next? I'm out of order now. You're out of order. How about some Blue Ridge scrub, hemp scrubs? I think these are great. Honestly, I used one of them, on a semi-regular basis to deal with foot, whatever. And I feel like it totally cleared things up. What up, Jen? Thanks for joining us. And so anyway, it's just really good. It's a really good way to get the hemp oil in, and then exfoliate at the same time. That's what scrubs do. They exfoliate, which means they remove the dead and whatnot. And so, 1 minute you're exfoliating the dead, the next minute you're replenishing that skin with CBD, which has to be beneficial. So, really good prices on the Blue Ridge Hemp Company scrubs as well. Marked down for your using pleasure. Do I have one more? Did I not? Did I only send 3? Oh, there it is. There's that Hemp Hoodlam ladies jacket I was talking about. I'm gonna probably get this one on eBay later. Been posting a lot of, I tell you what, every time I put some Hemp Hoodlam jackets on eBay, people eat them up. I think they're starting, people that collect, like the last girl that bought the last Hemp Hoodlam, she collects Hemp Hoodlam jackets. I'm kind of surprised it's taken some of them. Maybe it's just because I don't list, I just list like a color and a size of something, even though I may have more sizes in that particular style and color. And so, anyway, we still got some cold weather here, depending on where you are in the country. You've got some cold weather for a while. And maybe you're just a collector of hemp hoodlums, because they are technically, in my opinion, the greatest jacket ever made. Again, they do their job. They're eco-friendly. That, so is faux fur, not real fur. No animals were shaved or killed for that fur. And everything else is hemp. And just a little side note, I try not to put this out there too much, just to not, keep it a secret. They have multiple secret pockets in them.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
So, they are, it just, and some of them, and I don't know if these do, and I haven't checked all of them, but a lot of the original hemp hoodlums that we got also on the inside had a little paper holder for your pack of papers. It was like a little tissue dispenser. You put your pack of papers in there, and I have shown this on the show. Maybe I'll illustrate how this works on next week's show. But you put your pack of papers in there, and then you just pull out a paper, bam, ready to go. So, again,
nice.
They made them. They made a bulletproof version, which I believe Snoop Dogg has a bulletproof hemp hoodlum. I think it was Snoop Dogg in the Arctic camo. They worked with the famous whaling boat. What was the name? Sea Shepherd. They worked with Sea Shepherd, and Sea Shepherd, 15 years ago, they were out there aggressively fighting illegal fishing and whatnot. And I do believe that possibly that's who they developed the original bulletproof hemp hoodlums for, because it was serious. I don't remember, depending on whether you were paying attention at the time, but there was a time like 15, 20 years ago where these people were calling them extreme environmentalists. They were taking the Greenpeace message a lot farther by aggressively not backing down when, like literally getting shot at some point, maybe. Trying to protect the animals of the sea. So anyway, hemp hoodlum jackets are, they're a collector's item at this point. And then, of course, all the other benefits make it worthwhile. Okie dokie. So the one from my door, here's what I found, and I don't even think I've added this to my list of hemp possessions, but this is actually a stamp, as you can see, but it is mounted to a piece of hemp press board. And we had a handful of these, and we sold them in the stores. And then luckily, I'm so lucky, honestly, that I found this one. And then I found another one that was a hemp leaf, but the stamp was not attached to it anymore. And so, on the other side, it has this stamped image on it, so you can't read it real well. I actually posted it on the Instagram pics, Hemptations Pics Instagram page for today's announcement on the High Noon Hemp Show. But I'll be stamping using this to stamp some stuff soon. I don't know what. I did find some purple stamp ink, and I knew we used to have purple and green, and I did find some other hemp related stamps, but just regular. We had the I grew hemp, which was like the little quote that you would stamp the dollar bill, so it looked like George Washington said I grew hemp. That was very, very popular until the Secret Service told us that we were supposed to do that. We never, after that, we never encouraged anyone to stamp their bills. True story. But just so you know, the Secret Service, I was talking to the Secret Service because we had taken on some fake counterfeit bills. And again, this was like 25 years ago. And we had the I grew hemp stamp on the counter. And
see, Beach got a phone call, which took him off of being with us. So he should return momentarily. Of course, you're watching the High Noon Hemp Show. Thank you for doing so. Make sure you're sharing out there, getting the hemp infotainment, if you will, out to the people. As far as video quality, if you want to go to YouTube, Jedi Hemp YouTube channel is the best place for information on temptations. You see it there below. And, of course, the eBay. ERB Son of Ma. Tons of stuff on eBay if you're not in the Cincinnati area. If you are in the Cincinnati area, well, there is there's the address right there. Spring Grove Avenue in Northside in Cincinnati, above the flower factory. Snow Beach is left. He should be rejoining us any moment. Right? And he returned. There we go.
All right. Anyway, I was finishing up the story about the Secret Service guy whose name, I can't remember what it was, but it almost sounded made up relative to counterfeiting. I can't believe I can't remember. And I made a joke about it. I said, is that really your name? Or do you just use that because it sounds like a counterfeiting thing?
Johnny Fake Bill.
Is that a joke? I said something like, is that a joke? And he said, the Secret Service does not joke, sir. That was his exact words back to me. The Secret Service does not joke, sir.
Nice.
And then I told him about someone that I knew in the Secret Service who he knew because she was pretty up there in the Secret Service. And I think he started trusting me at that very moment again because, I was a suspect.
Right.
In all honesty, I think right up to the point where I mentioned that I knew someone pretty high up in the Secret Service.
Oh, you're good.
Anyway. Okay. So there you have it. Hemp stamp, my personal possession for this week's High Noon Hemp Show product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door.
Indeed. Which, of course, brings us to what is yet to be discounted as the greatest.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me. Okay. Yeah. Well, I will just continue the best that I can. I don't know why I can't hear you. Weird.
Yeah. I don't know. May have to like restart. I don't know. Or come back in. And
I'm going to go ahead. You do that, and then I'll be back again. We'll try it one more time.
We will do that. Technical issues abound on the High Noon Hemp Show. But again, that brings us to the greatest segment in internet history. I'll get back to my picture. There we go. Now we're ready. So, of course, the beachwear segment. You know, or you may not know. I don't know. Maybe you're just joining us for the first time and you have no idea. Beach has a lot of hemp stuff. More hemp stuff than just about anybody else on the planet. Maybe more than anyone else on the planet. He is set and holds many current hemp records, but they're not recognized by a certain world record body, which we will get to in a second. But you know, the beach has so much hemp stuff. And of course, in the beachwear segment, we focus on the clothing portion of it. And of course, as you know, the Guinness World Records, they don't care. Not only do they don't care, it's their official policy not to recognize hemp and cannabis records. But I realized today that they will never, ever run out of other things to make records about. They will never get to hemp. They'll never say, oh man, we're just out of records. We might as well start on the hemp and cannabis stuff because of things like this. Man makes world's smallest arcade machine that's pocket-sized but filled with power. Somebody made that. There's a video and I'm sure there's reasons that he did this. I didn't go and look because I don't care, because it's dumb. Look at it. What are you going to do with that?
Right. Come on.
And the Guinness World Records, the Guinness, what we all grew up with. We all remember the books at the book fair and the library and the Scholastic Fair and all the stuff in school. The Guinness Book of World Records, we all grew up with it. It was like the authority on world records. And look at what they're doing. It's a tiny arcade. Wait, how are you going to play that?
I mean, Pong wouldn't even be fun on that.
It's just stop.
Just stop. This is silly.
Just quit it. Anyway, so we'll do it. We're doing their job while they're doing just the dumbest things imaginable. We are talking about Beach's hemp clothing collection, and we chronicle what Beach is wearing every single week here on the High Noon Hemp Show. All I have to do is ask him one simple question, which is, what are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. And I got two new items, possibly three, I'm not positive, on the show for you today in the What Are You Wearing Beach segment. It is true. On top there, that is a Flex Fit hat. The only one, and I have you've seen a lot of the Flex Fits because it is could conceivably be my favorite hat that I own made out of hemp. Again, they're Flex Fits, so they're semi-fitted. The small medium fits my head perfectly, and I have black, green, and natural, quite a bit of them because we sold them in the store. The one color we never sold in the store and that I didn't have was this brown. And I found this brown one at the very first NOCO out in Colorado, regular show coming up probably within a month. If it's happening, I need to go check and see what's going on with NOCO, if it's going to happen this year. Yeah. Biggest hemp expo out there. But that's where I got this hat. And then you can't really tell on the bill, but little Millie Dog kind of chewed it up. It was one of the only hats. Josie loved to chew on stuff. Josie Dog, my Dobie. Millie, she didn't really chew on stuff, but one day she got into this hat and another hat for some reason. But I kind of it just kind of crimped the hat across the front, what she did, and I actually kind of like it. It's just kind of fun. It has a little life to it. That is a oh man, I'm losing my mind. Ecolution jacket. Worn that before. That sweater. I'm going to give everybody 12 seconds to guess what that sweater is mixed with. Come on, anybody? Anybody want to guess? Throw up a guess. Come on. What's this sweater? What's this hemp sweater made of? If it's not just hemp, what else is it? All right, no guesses? Man, I'm seriously disappointed. How about yak? That's right, folks. That is a hemp and yak.
Never would have guessed that.
Sweater. No one, unless you know of Eco Dragon, which is who made this. And I'm really excited, and I'm sorry that I have waited so long for this winter to bust out my sweaters, but I did. I had my bag of sweaters, and I have more next week. Next week we may play another round of What's That Hemp Mixed With, because I got a couple other exotic blends out there. So underneath it, you got a Young Maven t-shirt holding my Hempest pants, and I don't think the Hempest pants have been on the show. So the sweater I know hasn't. I'm almost 100% on that. The pants are from the Hempest. You've seen a lot of their socks, and you've seen a lot of their briefs, but not any. I don't know if I've worn these pants on the show. In the pocket there, of course, my Green Springs Technology pen being held up by a Hempies belt. Underneath it all, a pair of Satori boxer briefs. Now, these socks, I'm not 100% I've ever worn these socks on the show. I believe these socks came from Ecolution as well back in the day. These are, for sure, one of my oldest pairs of hemp socks. This, I don't doubt. I don't know. I may have worn them on the show before. But I do know these are definitely one of the oldest pair of hemp socks that I own. And then on the feet there are some wicked boots because it's going to rain for days here. So it's boot wearing days in the late winter, early spring of the high state area. So, all right, if you're curious, what's more of those clothes that should be a part of that record? Well, they are a part of my record. Anyway,
Right.
there you have it. How about a hemp yak sweater? Tell your friends. I mean, they won't believe you. They're going to have to come and watch the show because they're going to be like, there's no way you watched the show today that had a guy with a hemp yak sweater on. How often has that happened on TV? Never.
No. You could have given me 12 days, I would have never guessed yak.
Yeah. No one, again, someone possibly could have gotten yak. If you go back to all the conceivable fibers that you could weave and make into material, someone would have gotten to yak eventually. But I wanted to start with that because, I like to yak about hemp. It's the puns in me, folks. It's the puns in me. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and check out this commercial. This is definitely very apropos as to me again. I talked about it last week. I took basically a month off of social media. I basically walked away from everything. You got a new phone number, everything. Honestly, but you can how at the beginning of the commercial, this is how I felt, and at the end of the commercial, you can see how I feel. It's so. Anyway, for your viewing pleasure, here you go, and we'll be back with the news.
Suffer from wanting to save the earth? Or a healthy lifestyle? Well, maybe Hemptations is what you need. Hemptations is safe to take in any dose and will not cause horrible side effects. Take when needed for happiness and clean earth. Hemptations is available 7 days a week. Consult your local internet for more information on hemptations.com. Taking Hemptations includes food, CBD, body products, clothing and accessories, paper, pet goods, and much, much more. There is no cure for wanting hemp. Having Hemptations.
They don't show me as depressed as I thought at the beginning for as long as I thought.
You started running. That seemed to help some.
Yeah, I was depressed. And
Let's get the running go. Running's good for that too.
Yeah. I can only imagine what the people that were driving down the road thought when I was out kind of right out by the road filming that scene. Oh, see. Good times. Again, not a professional actor. But I do write all my own material.
That's right.
So I guess I am a professional writer. Okay. An article, How Venture Capital is Rewriting Fashion from the Fiber Up Natural Fabrics. Or again, from the Fiber Up. And so basically this is about natural fabrics. Organic cotton, linen, hemp, bamboo, and wool was a $5 billion market in 2024. We're hoping that we can double that in 10 years. Either way. But they did bring up Young Maven. Good old Young Maven. Been in it for as long as anyone. And then a company called Ten Tree. And I have to look into Ten Tree and see, what kind of hemp clothing that they're making. There are a lot out there. They also mentioned hemp material. And if you were looking for hemp material, and again, that's, really the whole part of the article was all about that, was about materials and eco-friendly, and whatnot. Getting away from cotton and or polyester. Everything else is pretty good. But everything else, for the most part, everything else was only a $5.2 billion industry. And I can't even fathom what the cotton industry, I can't even guess. But I will say that it's probably 1,000 times more than that. I bet the cotton industry globally is $200 billion industry to $30 billion industry. 30 billion. That's only 6 times more than that. But a $30 billion industry, that's a lot. I don't know. I feel like I looked it up once, and I can't picture the number because I was also looking up all the other industries and what they do as far as imports and exports. And I did a show on it, as to how, at the time, as far as all the tariffs go, how much money, we can save by growing all the hemp here that we import and then for all the products, whether it was paper products, clothing products, blah, 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 blah. Anyway. And so they talked about Raonique, and I've talked about Raonique quite a bit. They are, again, dedicated to hemp goods. As far as material, which I didn't know that they had a line of materials for sale on their website. And of course, you've heard me talk about Enviro Textiles quite a bit, and Hemp Traders, which are the two biggest in the United States as far as offering hemp material blends and whatever you're looking for. And so it all exists. The transition now has to be growing it here, weaving it here, manufacturing the goods here, putting them on the humans here. We need to end our dependence on Chinese hemp material, for sure. And our farmers I truly believe we can easily do that. Because, we get 60% of our material now from Chinese. And I can only imagine how the tariffs are possibly affecting that. It might have gone down a little bit. And again, until we were growing here, it was 60 China, 40 Europe for the most part. Italy grows the finest hemp fiber on the planet. Just for the record. Hopefully we can start challenging that here. Start growing some of the finest hemp here. And it is. We're slowly doing that. We're slowly seeing American-grown hemp in companies. Just like this pair of pants on sale, no less, at Patagonia for a great price. But Patagonia has been, now I don't know if this is American or imported hemp that are in these, but Patagonia does both. I have a hat and a pair of shorts that at this point are probably 5 years old that are made from American grown hemp that Patagonia had. And so if you're looking for a sale and a great deal, there you have it. You know what? I might have to change that. I think those were Orvis. I think my hat... No, it's Patagonia. Man, I'm going nuts. But either way, I got a lot of hemp stuff, and it confuses me sometimes who made it. That's the lesson here, folks. But if you want to find yourself a hemp pair of pants to try to challenge my hemp clothing collection,
Yes.
what better time than to purchase these? Okay, so here is a famous piece of art by Henry Pierre Picot. It's called Homage to Nature. Now, if you zoom in there in the middle, and I know you can't really see it that well. I apologize for the picture. Um, and go down a little to show the top part. The other way. Go the other way. But okay, there it is. So I'm not saying that that's hemp laying there, that the homage to nature is happening. But I will say this: those bales of fiber look identical to the bales of fiber that are on the back of an early 1900s $10 bill that everyone is claiming is hemp. Now, I don't know when this painting was painted, but once again, could be wheat. It could be wheat, but it could be hemp. I only throw these hypotheses out there hoping that someday someone will prove one way or another. Like, be like, oh, yeah, I'm sure that was hemp, because that guy had hemp farms all around him wherever he painted this picture, and I didn't do any research. I will say this: there's a very good chance that um, the what it's painted on, the fabric material that it's painted on, is hemp, because a lot of famous paintings are on hemp. And the canvas, man, my brain, I must be getting old or something. But just like my life, it catches up with me. The minute I stop thinking about the word I want to think of, it hits me. Anyway, so a lot of canvas, cannabis, it's all derived. It's all derivative. Etymology of the words have proven it. So, anyway, University of Johannesburg. Africa's really, once again, there's a lot of stuff going on in Africa with hemp right now. But the University of Johannesburg has developed a hemp brick that they hope will solve housing issues for the rural housing in the area. The main reason that they made this hemp brick, okay, same reason that they built the hemp house in Asheville, was for health purposes. So in these communities, asthma rates are extremely high. Extremely high, abnormally high. So the University of Johannesburg, or Johannesburg, or however whatever you want to call it, they went to work to find the cleanest building material, okay, and also try to save economically to, guess what, benefit from the insulation properties of hempcrete. And of course, the big winner was hemp. They did the research. And this is what they came up with. So, again, it's the world is moving in the right direction. And here's more proof that, again, everything I've always said about hemp is 99.99% accurate. Pratt Institute students, the Pratt Institute, their students are looking to restore, renovate buildings in the Bronx. The Bronx, okay? Once again, I'm sorry. I just got my stories mixed up there a little bit.
Okay.
So take that asthma part off of the last story and we'll move it to this story. So Pratt Institute students looking to restore, renovate buildings in the Bronx for health and cost reasons. So this is where it was. In this neighborhood, the Bronx, the asthma rate, I think it was like 1 in 5 people had asthma. Okay, and so that's why they went in to try to figure out. And again, that was being caused by the insulation in these buildings. Guarantee it. 100%. No doubt about it. All right. Again, my hypothesis. I'm 100% correct, but it's my hypothesis. I'm not saying it's true. So they came along, and again, they figured out that the hempcrete. Once again, same reasons that they want to use it in Africa is one reason they want to use it in the Bronx to restore buildings. Is again, it's a great insulator as well. And so they're going to start. The first project is to start with a 100-year-old building in the Bronx. And then they have also, take a look at this, and we're seeing a little bit of this. I've reported on some other companies that are working on modular wall systems. But, this is the type of thing where you're building these walls in a warehouse, and then you're taking them to the job site and installing them for the most part. And again, most houses, and they won't tell you this, whether you spend $300,000 to build a house or $50,000 to build a house, most of them are modular by definition housing. Because the frames are built somewhere else. Everything. The frames are built somewhere else, brought in, put together, basically, and then everything's finished after that. So that's the way most houses are built these days. Honestly, it doesn't start with it does not start with a pile of 2x4s and a concrete pad. Right? It starts with a concrete pad and a stack of pre-made walls that are unloaded off a truck and then put where they're supposed to be put and put into place. And again, I don't care how much you invest in a home, that's how most of them are getting done. And again, what better way to make those hemp walls, make all those walls, bring them in, take the crane, put them where they're supposed to be, put them together. You still have to have that frame. You can see here that that's just a fill-in insulation, so to speak. Not just making a solid hemp wall and then you put that together. Making a framed wall that's filled with hempcrete. And again, you make these in a warehouse. You make them any size to suit, and then take them to the job site and install them. It's brilliant. And again, this is happening in the Bronx. I don't know specifically where Pratt Institute is, but I assume that Pratt Institute is somewhere in New York City, close to the Bronx, if not in the Bronx.
It would help.
Either way. They'll have a warehouse making, if they're smart, they'll have a warehouse making these modular hemp walls, 30 minutes outside of New York City, and the rural New York, which isn't far away from New York City. You drive kind of right out of the rural New York, right across the bridge, and then bim bam boom, you're in madness, city madness. Well, Indiana, in the last week, I reported last week that Indiana stalled, their ban stalled. Well, in the last week, they tried to bring it back to life, and then it got nixed again. So this is reminding me of Indiana, or Texas. The guy in Texas was like doing everything he could and just wasn't realizing that that's not what anybody wants. Again, bans are not the answer. Bans are not the answer. Prohibition is not the answer. Um, well, Iowa obviously has no idea about hemp. I don't think they have they want to. They do. But some of the stuff that I think Iowa believes about industrial hemp, I don't think they. I think they have a lot of wild hemp. I think there's a lot of wild hemp in Iowa, if I was to guess. I don't know for sure. It's close to Wisconsin, and Wisconsin has a lot of wild hemp. I don't know. And they kind of want to get into the hemp game, but they really just don't. The one thing is because I think they believe in Iowa that the end product, to this day, they still believe the end product has to be 0.3% THC or less. They don't even understand that that's at the flower to begin with. So, and again, what better time to be confused as to what hemp is than under the current circumstances anywhere for the most part? Because we'd all really like some definitive answers. I mean, give me a definitive answer as what intoxicating hemp is. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Can anybody tell me? Like anybody in the government is saying we have to ban intoxicating hemp. Tell me, what is intoxicating hemp? I mean, I get what they're saying, but I want to know specifically what is on the list of intoxicating hemp and where did you come up with that? Like, who decided what's on the list to begin with? Because are you trusting the word of someone that got intoxicated by this hemp? Or are you trusting the word of people that have no freaking idea and also have no freaking idea how safe or unsafe any of these things are? Because the government has yet to prove to us how safe or unsafe. And when I say prove, I mean proof. They've tried to convince us that this stuff is unsafe, and we keep saying no. But until it's rescheduled, you can't do legitimate arguments. But once again, proven it's not unsafe driving. And I don't care what cannabinoid you're talking about. Those tests have been proven that it does not make you an unsafe driver of a motor vehicle. Um, you know, brain damage. Who out there knows how the study went to prove that THC causes brain damage? Okay. Who out there knows? Anyone? Anyone? I believe originally they were called the Scopes Monkey Trials. Okay, which is also an interesting reference if you know the history of scopes, period. But the Scopes Monkey Trials, okay, this is what they did with those poor little monkeys. Okay, they gave those poor little monkeys cannabis smoke, just cannabis smoke, for up to 6 minutes at a time. No oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not a medical science. Never studied medical science. But I do know if you cut the supply of oxygen off to the human brain and apparently the monkey brain for 6 minutes, it causes brain damage. In fact, unless your brain is really trained, brain damage can happen sooner than that. Okay? And so that was the test. That's how the government proved, and this was the 50s. Pretty sure 50s, possibly early 60s. But that's how the government proved that smoking marijuana caused brain damage. That study led to the frying egg in the pan PSAs of the 80s. I guarantee it. And again, you can now since then, there has not been one substantiated medical study that has proven smoking cannabis causes brain damage. Anyway, Botswana. Speaking of Africa, Botswana is supporting hemp. They are going after it with some pretty strict rules. They want to make sure that everything's on the up and up with their hemp. But again, this would behoove anywhere. And I don't know what Botswana, what their living conditions are like. I picture it being actually more in the forest-y part of Africa. I'm not great at that stuff, but Africa's huge. But most people don't realize, half of Africa is kind of deserty, and then half of Africa is just luscious forests. Anyway, so good for them. Whether it's building houses, feeding families, making clothing, it's not for CBD. I would almost guess that for sure. Looks like South Carolina they're listening. They've been watching the show.
Nice.
Because they are, in fact, not going to ban things, but they are going to regulate. They're going to put age limits, and they are going to regulate. So I think you'll have to tell them that you're selling these products, whatever it is that they want. But they're just going to put age limits on stuff, and basically, kind of try to keep track of everywhere that these products are sold, so they can go in and check and make sure that everyone's doing the proper thing by carding people for these products. It's the way it should be everywhere. Period. Stop telling me what I can or cannot do in the privacy of my own home, if not hurting anyone else.
Yeah.
That's freedom. And that's free. We don't have it. And we pay for not having freedom dearly. But, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's the truth. I'm going to throw a random shout out to Hemp Mania. Go check out Hemp Mania. They've been there again. They are old schoolers. I might only have maybe one Hemp Mania, maybe two Hemp Mania bags still. But their products have always, that's not even true. We have a whole store full of Hemp Mania duffel bags. Pretty sure. Maybe I'll do a little focus on Hemp Mania next week. Either way, but they make great bags, 100% hemp. Their styles, they've changed. I don't think their styles have changed a lot because they didn't need to. The different, small bag, medium-sized bag, duffel bag, all the bags that they made, purse. I don't know if they still make the mini backpack, but their backpacks, super awesome. We'll focus on it hopefully next week. And also sativa bags over in the United Kingdom. And the reason I bring up sativa bags in the United Kingdom is because we actually sold sativa bags, and I still have, it might be my personal product, the product spotlight next week, because I have an iPad that I just found that needs a case, and I know I have a sativa iPad holder. So we'll see about that. But a couple shout outs, just a shout out there to a couple old school old hempsters, Hemp Mania and Sativa Bags over in the United Kingdom. Which begs the question, is Ireland a country? Do you know? Do you know, Stoner?
I think so.
Yeah, you think so?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Scotland, country?
That's a little more. Well, I know there's some with Ireland and Northern Ireland, and then Scotland is with Wales and England, and then they're part of the United Kingdom. But I'm guessing they're also like separate entities.
So England's a country?
Okay,
No, it's not.
it's not.
Ireland is not a country. None of them are countries.
Wow. It's awful.
The United Kingdom is the country.
Who makes that decision?
I don't know who made that decision. I honestly don't. And again, here's the thing. I mean, it's like they couldn't decide who really was Ireland or Scotland or Wales or Britain or any of these places. So that's why. And again, I feel like I know a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I read a lot. And I have always kind of, I guess, been a little confused. Like, what's Britain? Because I would have totally failed that test. I would have totally said Ireland's a country. Of course, Ireland's a country.
Sad if they're not.
But no, they are just a part of. Now they are an individual entity, but they are just part of the country of the United Kingdom. Crazy, wacky stuff, man.
Right.
This world of ours, borders and fences and lines drawn, shit. All right, well, we're gonna leave you here with a super simple recipe for basically like a seed nut healthy mix. And the whole article was like something that you could sprinkle over stuff if you wanted to. I think you could just eat this kind of by the handful, but it's just highly nutritional value between all of these parts of this. And basically, you just take this, throw it in a little bag, shake it up pretty good, and you're done. You can sprinkle it. You could sprinkle it over anything, oatmeal. I'm sure there's salads. I feel like a salad would be good with this sprinkled over it. You could spice it. Maybe throw some of your favorite spices in there, and then throw it over an Italian dish if you put some Italian sauce. I don't know. I don't know. But it's healthy. That's the real point. And it contains hemp seeds, which is why you're seeing it. And now you know the rest of the story. All right. A couple events. Last night was the medical marijuana meetup. Very, very small crowd. But we did have, a great discussion on weird movies. Not hemp or cannabis related for the most part. Although I do have a bunch of bizarre ones that I have to watch. I do have a list of bizarre hemp cannabis movies that I need to watch. And then 419. 419. You've got a day, so go on down to Washington Park here in downtown Cincinnati and celebrate Earth Day. Show your support for the earth by being there. Either way. Okay, well, I didn't have any questions. You heard my thoughts. So, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back next week. Come hell or high water, or some other possible thing. You never know. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Happy temptations.
See y'all next week. Come hell or high water.
Come hell or high water.